So usually we talk about copyright in class. So this is just a little video to go over copyright, but there's a whole folder of resources in Blackboard that you can also review. Okay, so fair use is a test that's used to decide, is this a violation of copyright? Okay, so the first thing in fair use is to look at what is the purpose and character of the use. If you are creating something as a parody that's educational, that is more acceptable than if you are copying something to make money for yourself. The second is the nature of the copyrighted work. Okay, is it a video? Is it a book? Is it an article? Okay, depending on what the copyrighted work is, there are slightly different rules, and all of it really comes down to, am I taking money from somebody else? Okay, let's say we have a textbook and I want to make copies of the textbook so that my students can annotate, they can highlight, they can draw on it. That's okay. I can do that because my school already owns that textbook and I'm using it for the purpose of teaching my students about the text. Okay? If I was to copy that same textbook into a PDF and post that on the internet for anyone to use, that would not be okay because I'm taking away the funds, the money that would be going to that textbook company. The second is the amount and the substantiality that's used. How much of the original work are you using? Are you using 5 minutes of a 2-hour film? That's going to be more appropriate than showing an entire film. Okay? Then again, what is the effect on the maker? If you are taking away money or you are portraying the maker in a negative light that's going to take away their money, then that's going to probably be a violation of copyright law. Public domain are things that are not protected by copyright, things that are out there in the universe that anyone can use. Okay, so if the copyright has already expired, then it's in the public domain and anybody can use it. Okay, that is either from 70 years from the author's death or 120 years from the creation of the product. If the copyright person failed to renew their copyright, but it's kind of hard to know if that's true, right? So I wouldn't bank on that one. If the copyright puts things in the public domain or says you can use this, so for example, a lot of pictures that are uploaded to like Flickr are uploaded so that people can use them. Or if it's just not a protected type of work. So what is not protected? Ideas are not protected. So ideas can be copied from other people. Okay, facts, things that are not original works, but just are facts, right? It's just a fact that there is an ocean off the coast of California. That's a fact, right? That's not somebody's original idea. Anything the government creates is not copyrighted. So if you find educational resources by the Library of Congress, by US Gov education website, by the state of California's education department, those things are not copyrighted and you can use them. If you wanted to use materials from a junior ranger program, from a national park, that's not protected. That's created by the government, so we kind of all own it. Okay. So there are a lot of things that are not copyrighted. I want to go through a couple scenarios, which normally we would do as an in-class discussion, but that's all right. All right, so let's say I have an article and I want to use that article in my classroom. And I'm going to make copies of this and give it to my students. Is that a violation? It actually is. Technically, you should have to get approval from the author to make those copies. This one's violated a lot by teachers. Well, let's say I don't want to make copies of it. I'm just going to post it to my public web page. Is that a violation? Yes, because it's a public web page. Making copies of it is pretty much a violation, no matter what, if you don't have permission. Is someone checking that for articles? Probably not, but just so you know, that would be a violation. Okay, I get a workbook from the teacher store and I want to make a copy of it. Is that a violation? Depends on the workbook, okay? Some workbooks come with a page in the front that say this, you are given authority to copyright this for your, or to make copies of this for your class. Usually those are the workbooks, because I've bought a lot of workbooks, those are the workbooks that cost about $20 to $30 because they are intended by teachers or by education companies for teachers to use. Workbooks that are a little bit cheaper and often that are in color are usually not. So just check the first couple of pages of a teacher workbook. If the first couple of pages will tell you if you are allowed or if you're not allowed to make copies of something. All right, so this, I already talked about this one, so I'm going to skip over this one. What about watching a movie? All right, a lot of teachers like to do this. A lot of teachers like to read a book and then watch the movie. Can you do this? It depends. So if the movie is completely tied to your instruction, okay, and you own the movie, then you're probably okay. The problem that's come up recently is streaming. If you are streaming something, you do not own that movie. You do not have the rights to show it. So be really careful when using Netflix or Disney Plus. Check with your district on what their rules are because you want to make sure that you're protected. What if I just want to show a movie for good behavior? Like my class has been awesome. We had a marble jar. They got all the marbles. They want to watch a movie. This is definitely not protected. Okay, this is not for instructional purposes. So that goes back to that first slide that we were talking about here when we talked about the purpose and character of the use. Why are you doing this? If you're doing this for an educational reason and it really is educational, you stand on a firmer ground than if you're just doing something for entertainment. You're going to pick one small part of copyright and create a copyright commercial. There are more resources on Blackboard if you need more help.